Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's take up the daily quiz for today. The first question: World Press Freedom Index is published by Reporters Without Borders, UNHRC, UNESCO, Human Rights Watch. The correct answer is option A. The World Press Freedom Index is published every year by Reporters Without Borders. This question was taken up because of this article in today's The Hindu newspaper. See, the World Press Freedom Index has been published every year since 2002 by Reporters Sans Frontières, or also known as Reporters Without Borders. It is a France based NGO and a not for profit organization which holds the consultative status with several international organizations such as the United Nations, UNESCO, OIF, etc. This index basically ranks countries according to the level of freedom that is available to journalists, and this ranking is not an indicator of the quality of journalism in that country. Reporters Without Borders uses several parameters to gauge the freedom enjoyed by journalists to report in a particular country, and they base their ranking on parameters such as pluralism, media independence, media environment and self censorship, legislative framework, transparency, quality of infrastructure that supports the production of news and information, etc. In the latest index for 2021, India has again ranked at a very low position of 142nd out of 180 countries. Even last year, that is in the 2020 index, India had got the same rank. And this highlights the serious threat posed to press freedom in India. Even in the South Asia region, India has fared very poorly because even small countries like Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, and others have ranked higher than India, with the exception of Pakistan, which is ranked below India. On this index, India has been categorized under the bad category for journalism, meaning that it has become dangerous for journalists to carry out independent reporting. The report attributes this poor ranking of India to several disturbing factors which have been noticed of late in India, such as targeted attempts to brand any critical journalist who criticizes the government and to brand them as anti state or anti national journalists. The report also highlights several incidents of harassment and violence faced by journalists, particularly the restrictions on reporting in Jammu and Kashmir. However, it's very important to note that last year the government of India had set up a cell, which was basically an interministerial cell comprising of officials from 18 important ministries. And this interministerial cell, headed by the cabinet secretary, was looking at ways to improve India's position and ranking on 32 important international indices. Under this mandate, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting was given the task to look at India's ranking on the World Press Freedom Index. And accordingly, senior officials from the ministry had gotten in touch with Reporters Without Borders to seek more clarity on the criteria that was used by the organization to rank countries and to understand why India was consistently underperforming on the report. It has even been reported that the Indian ambassador to France was asked by the government of India to get in touch with Reporters Without Borders to explain India's position on the issue to the organization. And India has reiterated that under Article 19 of the Constitution, freedom of press is a guaranteed fundamental right, and the government in particular has been committed to upholding the freedom of press. India has often questioned the methodology used by such organizations, and in some cases, it has even referred to it as a flawed methodology. And the government has defended its position on the grounds that these attacks on journalists happen to be just isolated incidents, and Reporters Without Borders cannot use these incidents to unfairly place India on a lower rank on the report. Let's look at the second question. Which of the following statements are correct? The Animal Welfare Board of India has been established under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960. It regulates the usage of animals in labs, circuses, and for entertainment. Recently, the board has advised the government to pass a legislation banning animals in circuses that are registered under the Performing Animal Registration Rules. All the three statements are correct. Option D is the right answer. See, the Animal Welfare Board of India was established in 1962 under the provisions of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960. The credit for the adoption of this law goes to Rukmini Devi Arundale, who was a noted humanitarian, animal rights activist, and dancer. She managed to convince the then Nehru government to come out with a dedicated law for protection of animal rights and for upholding animal welfare. And accordingly, the law was enacted with the parliament. And 2 years later, the Animal Welfare Board was set up. And Rukmini Devi Arundale even went on to become the first head of this board. Since then, this board is responsible for enforcing the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act, which is designed to protect animal rights, uphold animal welfare, and prevent the unnecessary infliction of pain on animals. Hence, it regulates the usage of animals in labs for testing purposes. It also regulates the usage of animals for entertainment, especially in circuses. This question was taken up because we have an article in today's The Hindu that refers to a circus hippopotamus, which was at the center of a legal battle, and the Delhi High Court has entrusted the welfare of this animal with a trust. Let's look at the third question. In which of the following countries can one spot the elusive snow leopard in the wild? India, Iran, China, Russia, Kazakhstan. See, amongst the given countries, you cannot spot the snow leopard in the wild in Iran. So the correct answer would be option C. The snow leopard can be spotted in India, China, Russia, and Kazakhstan. See, to answer this question, you should know the distribution, the range, and the habitat of the snow leopard. See, the snow leopard is known to inhabit alpine and subalpine habitats in high altitude areas, and its range is limited to parts of India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan, China, Mongolia, several Central Asian countries, including Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, and as well as parts of Russia, that is in Siberia region. In India, this elusive species can be found in Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh. That is basically in the Himalayan region where we find alpine subalpine conditions. And also note that this animal has been listed as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List. This question was taken up because the Hindu carries an article which makes a reference to the snow leopard. Let's look at the fourth question. The Lyrids meteor shower is seen during which month? The correct answer is April. Option D is the right answer. We have this article in the Hindu that makes a reference to the Lyrids meteor shower which is seen during this month. The Lyrids meteor shower is located in the Lyra constellation and it achieves its peak on the 22nd of April, that is today. Also go through this chart over here so that you'll be familiar with major meteor showers and the months that they occur in. In January, you can witness the Quadrantids meteor shower. In April, we have Lyrids. Then in April and May, Aquarids meteor shower can also be seen. Then during August, we have the Perseids meteor shower. For October, we have Orionids meteor shower. And in December, we have the Geminids meteor shower. Now let's look at a practice question from the 2018 prelims paper. Consider the following. Birds, dust blowing, rain, wind blowing. Which of the above spread plant diseases? See, all the four agents that are mentioned over here, they are responsible for propagating and spreading plant diseases. So option D is the right answer. Now coming to the fact of the day, let's talk about the Leaders Summit on Climate that is scheduled to take place today and tomorrow. According to this press release from the Prime Minister's office, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to participate in the Leaders Summit on Climate that has been called by US President Joe Biden. This summit was announced by the US President in March 2021 and he has invited around 40 world leaders to participate in this virtual summit that will focus on climate change and climate action efforts. These 40 world leaders, they will represent countries which are members of the Major Economies Forum on Energy and Climate Change, of which even India is a member of. And it shall also include a few countries which are very vulnerable to climate change. The main objective of the summit, being hosted by the US, is to galvanize global efforts, especially from the major economies, to tackle the climate crisis that the world is facing. Through this summit, US President Joe Biden is planning to ensure close coordination with major economies by bringing in participation from the highest levels of respective governments. This summit will focus on various aspects of climate change and climate action, including emission reduction, climate finance, innovation, job creation, resilience, and adaptation. During this virtual summit, which can be viewed by the common public as well. The leaders will be exchanging views on various subjects of climate change and climate action. And they will not only focus on technological innovations that will promote the adoption of cleaner energy, but they will also focus on mobilizing climate finance, which will help the vulnerable countries to adopt climate mitigation and climate adaptation techniques. During the summit, the leaders will deliberate on how the world can align their respective climate action efforts, which are a part of Paris Agreement, with the needs of inclusive and sustainable development. For this summit, the United States, which is the host, has identified a set of key themes, and the primary goal of the summit is to galvanize global efforts to limit global warming to under 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is the stated objective of the Paris Agreement as well. The key focus of the Leaders Summit on Climate is to push the world towards net zero emissions. And as we have discussed in previous sessions, many developed countries, including the US, they are already adopting net zero emission targets within a strict deadline. So, developing nations and major economies such as India might be pushed unfairly by the developed world to adopt similar net zero emission targets, thus raising the debate again between developed countries and developing nations with regard to climate action. So, with this, let's conclude our discussion for today. Thanks for watching.